Hey everyone, welcome back to the month ahead reading. This is the astrology forecast for October 2024. That's the first part of the reading, and then I get to the cards for you for your sign. You can go by your rising or your sun sign. So let's talk about October, what the energy is, and if you're interested in astrology, and also I will mention some signs that are mostly affected by certain influences, so do stick around for this part of the reading. A lot of what I talk about is astrology related, obviously, and when I get to the cards I still even talk about what pops up with the astrology. So October is a very interesting month. We have the last eclipse happening of the year, so that is on October 2nd. It's actually a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So this happens at 10 degrees of Libra. If you'd like to know more specific details around this, go to my Patreon where I'll put the link below. You can actually unlock that post for $5 Australian, I believe it is. I think you can unlock that post. Some posts I've got set to unlock. I'm pretty sure that one is. You can also join my Patreon for $6.99. That's Australian dollars. So it's less if you're in the US. And you can access a lot more content. I recently did a vlog of a day in my life, which was just, an experiment for me because I've never done any vlogging before. And it is a lot of work. People had voted to see that, so I just showed where I do in-person readings in Sydney, just a few snippets of my day basically. But if you're interested in that, you can have a look at that. I don't think you can unlock that post. I think you have to join actually for that one. But for the new moon solar eclipse, if you want to watch that video for your sign, go to my Patreon, the link below. Also, just another thing I want to mention before I get into the astrology for October, if you're a Cancerian or a Scorpio or a Pisces in particular, but also if you're a Taurus or a Virgo, next year Jupiter is going to Cancer. That's going to benefit those signs. Huge for Cancerians. If you're Cancer sun, moon or rising, this is going to be very positive for you. It's going to bring a lot of abundance, a lot of growth. If you've been feeling stagnant or stuck, this is going to push things forward for you. This video is available to watch on my YouTube channel. So that one, the first video, is free to watch on YouTube. I can put a link below as well to that video for those interested. And if you want to know for your sign, that's on my Patreon as an extended video. So again, you can unlock that video for $5 Australian to watch that. So I do recommend finding out more if you're interested, in seeing how your life could change for the better, how this is going to affect you personally based on your sun or rising sign. You can watch for your sun and your rising sign, and the timestamps are under the video on my Patreon for all signs. The one on YouTube is just general info. I do mention certain signs as well, but it's general info for Jupiter going to Cancer, which starts next year, June in 2025. Okay, so that aside, if you'd like to book a reading as well, the link is below to www.readingswithsusan.net. You can book to have a video reading, an audio reading, all sorts of readings available there. Astrology and psychic and mediumship readings. Alrighty, so for October, other than the new moon solar eclipse on October 2nd, which is happening at 10 degrees of Libra, this is basically indicates a new beginning. So solar eclipses are new beginnings, and because we are already in eclipse season, we had an eclipse, I think it was in September, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was in September actually. So there was a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So there's been a lot of intense energy. A lot of people are feeling that as a lot of tension in the air. But with this new moon solar eclipse, this is allowing for a new beginning. Okay, solar eclipses are less emotional than the lunar eclipses, so you can take heart with that. This is not going to be as emotionally draining or as intense as the Pisces one that we had in September. But Libra is all about relationships, so it can be a new relationship. It also represents contracts, like marriage contracts, divorce contracts. This is something that is going to be ending that you already have a sense about, though. It's not something that's going to be a big surprise to you because we're at the end of the eclipse season. So these things have already been in play, in some form in your life already throughout this year. And whatever this new beginning is, it is happening in the sign of Libra, which is about relationships, like I said. So if you know your chart, look at where you have 10 degrees of Libra to give yourself a heads up. If you don't know your chart, go to my Patreon where I explain for every sign what this is going to do or how this can influence you. On the 9th of October, Jupiter goes retrograde in Gemini, so on that 21 degrees. So with Jupiter retrograde, we can feel a little bit more inwardly focused in terms of our spiritual growth, in terms of even we may feel less communicative than when Jupiter has been direct. We can feel a little bit, sometimes a bit less optimistic. So be aware if you are feeling a bit less optimistic. That can be because of the Jupiter retrograde. Changes the feeling tone a little bit, and also because it's in Gemini, which is a mental sign, you know, the mental plane and thoughts and thinking and communication. We can feel like our thoughts are a little bit less optimistic, so maybe we need to feel, you know, we want to feel more optimistic, but it's hard to, you know, that can be definitely the energy. So Jupiter will be retrograde for a number of months going forward, but it is a time where we can do the inner work, and this is a good time to do the inner spiritual work rather than sort of, you know, be ultra focused in the external. It doesn't mean that external things are not happening. Obviously they still will be, but it may feel a bit slower on the external level and more like there's stuff going on inside of you, within your emotions, within your outlook and your perspective and your beliefs, that is shifting for you in some way. Then on the 12th, Pluto goes direct on 29 degrees of Capricorn, and so as by the time we get to the end of this year, Pluto is going to be out of Capricorn for many years, so it won't be in Capricorn in our lifetime again. And this is very significant. So Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008, so we've had this full cycle of Pluto in Capricorn, and it has been changing things in society. You know, it's been doing a lot. I have separate videos on my main YouTube channel about Pluto in Capricorn going back, so you'd have to search to find that video, what it all meant, you know, for society. But for on a personal level, if you're a Capricorn, this is a huge end of an era for you. Even if you've got Cancer placements, because it would have been opposing. If you're a Scorpio rising or a Scorpio, like you've got strong Scorpio because Pluto rules that sign as well, this can feel like it's been really heavy on you. But the people that would have felt this the most in their lives since 2008 would have been Capricorn rising in particular, Capricorn moons, and also Capricorn sun. So this is a time where you can feel a big shift in your karma in some way, where you feel like you've done so much work and it's been a heavy burden, you know. So it's time that this is showing that the time is ending, where you're coming out of this heavy karmic load into a new era for yourself. So it is definitely also in the collective, because we all have Capricorn somewhere in our chart. But I mentioned sun, moon, or rising because that's when it's something very significant like that in your own chart. It's way more powerful. But you know, if you know where you have Pluto in your chart, you could look that up. Pluto is going to go into Aquarius the end of this year, and it stays in Aquarius for many years, till 2044 off the top of my head, or 2043. I can't remember the exact date, but again, I've done a video on that topic also on my channel if you're interested. But that's Pluto going direct is going to feel for people that have strong Scorpio energy or Capricorn energy in particular, like, but everyone in some way, and that the energy of personal empowerment is more within your grasp, rather than feeling on the back foot with your personal power, or feeling like you're struggling, or you're trying to keep your head above water when it comes to your personal power. So it's going to be a better energy for those signs that I mentioned. Okay, then on the 13th, Mercury enters Scorpio. So this deepens the mind, makes the mind more intense, but can make the mind more prone to negativity, obsessive thoughts, even paranoid thoughts. You know, Mercury in Scorpio has a dark energy to it. In the positive sense, we can use this for things like research, delving into the truth of things, finding out the truth of things. It's great for that, especially doing research of any kind. It's excellent for that. Also, it's really good for from the 13th of October, when Mercury goes into Scorpio, your intuition. Your intuition should be very sharp, because Mercury in that water sign really taps into the feeling tone of what you're picking up on, the subtext, the things that people are not saying. You'll be able to sense that energy more, especially if you've got water in your chart already. From the 17th, Venus enters the light-hearted and fun-loving Sagittarius. So that's a very buoyant, sort of fiery energy. And the same day, there's actually a full moon in Aries on 24 degrees of Aries. This is kind of an intense energy. On this, around the 17th, we could see things going on in the world that are very intense because of that full moon in Aries at the same time that Venus goes into a fire sign. It could be things like flaring up in the world around conflict. So, you know, definitely, because also the moon in Aries is actually conjunct with Chiron. That's very difficult energy. So especially for a full moon to be conjunct Chiron, that could cause some kind of, or have us be very aware of some kind of pain that's going on in the world. That's some situation of conflict that's causing pain for people. So that's around the 17th. So yeah, It's a bit of a heavy energy, even though Venus in Sagittarius is lighthearted when it's kind of that energy of fieriness is coinciding with the full moon in Aries conjunct Chiron. I wouldn't be surprised if we see things to do with like ongoing conflicts, but also something else that's connected to that. So on a personal level, if you've got anything around 20 to 25, 26 degrees of Aries, that could be a bit challenging time for you with that full moon conjunct Chiron around the 17th. You might feel emotionally a bit sensitive then. And lastly, on the 22nd, the Sun enters Scorpio. So we go into Scorpio season, which is around the time as we go towards Halloween. So the energy, does become a little bit on, with a darker edge to it. As the Sun goes into Scorpio, we become aware of, the unseen levels of reality more when the Sun is in that sign. And we tap into our intuition a lot more easily around that time. And happy birthday to the Scorpio people also. So Venus going into into Sagittarius on the 17th, even though that around that date, 17th, 18th, the energy's heavy. After that, it should lighten up a little bit, by the way, and it can be very positive for anyone that has fire in their chart as well. That's about it for the astrology for October. I'm going to get to the cards now. So I've got a new tarot deck I'm going to use here. Let's see what comes up. And a couple of other decks. So Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo is the first time I'm doing. Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. What are the energies for October? For Aries, for the fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. There's a few cards there. Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. I should say Aries, Leo, Sagittarius in the correct order. What have we got? Something here. It's trying to come out. Okay. Fire signs for October. What have we got? Okay. I don't know why I've got that song in my head, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. I do love that song, but it's just maybe there's something significant for the fire signs. Fire energy, Three of Wands. More fire, Queen of Wands, and the Four of Wands. So Wands of fire. So it's funny because I'm doing the fire signs and all fire cards have turned up here today. Right, let's look at what else you guys have. Let's make sure that's visible on camera. Yeah. Oh, Chiron healing. I was just talking about that moon in Aries conjunct Chiron. Wow. So for Aries people, that's very significant then, the fact that this has come up. That's happening, like I said, around the 17th. Full moon in Aries conjunct Chiron. There's something for you to heal at that time, fire signs, especially for Aries people in particular, but for the fire signs, all fire signs. Spring spirit gratitude. It's a 1. 1 makes me think of Aries being the first sign of the zodiac. Obviously I'm addressing the other signs here as well, but here are some of the messages. I'm going to do some astro dice for you guys as well. Got the right things here. Yep. No, I need to get that one. Okay. What are the fire signs got with the astro dice? Neptune, Capricorn, 12th house. Oh, okay. So there might be something coming up to do with a parent or something from the past to do with an authority figure that was maybe unclear or was confusing when you were young. There's something that's to do with healing I'm getting. You may also be very aware of the need for healing at this time for the fire signs. There, of course, could also be something to do with travel or with the Neptune and the 12th house, like thinking about travel, wanting to travel or traveling for some. I like that you've got the gratitude card here. So it's saying despite what's going on for the fire signs this October, remember to focus on gratitude, what you're grateful for, because it allows you to get out of any kind of negative thoughts or feelings or mindset. The Four of Wands shows home life here and family, so that's a big message. And the Queen of Wands, so for some of you, you're trying to take charge of something in your life to do with home, family, or just your living situation. And then you have the Three of Wands, which is about your future plans. So you're looking at in October what you want to do next for your life, fire signs, like what's the next step, what's the next plan for you. And there is something related to organizing things in the home life, I feel, and also beyond the home life, like your career, your goals, travel plans, future goals, things that you want. With Neptune the 12th, it's like also saying to me, what I'm feeling with the fire signs here is, do ask your guides for help with certain things that you're wanting to do in the future. So don't forget that it's not just on you to create things, also your guides can help. That's what I'm getting for the fire signs. Okay, so next we're looking at the earth signs. Okay, let's see what's coming up for the earth signs for October. If you'd like to book a reading, the link is below. Let's see, earth signs, Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. Oh, jumping cards. Okay, there's a few jumping cards. I'm going to take them all because there's 3. Usually I do 2, but oh wow, we have the Ace of Cups. Look at that beautiful Ace of Cups in this new deck. Isn't that stunning? The Devil. God. Okay. And the King of Cups. Wow. Okay, so earth signs, there is somebody thinking about you and wanting to reconnect by the looks of it. It looks like somebody that you already know for most earth signs, or it could be for some, look, because this is a general reading, someone new. But I'm going to roll the Astro dice and see what comes up for this. That was the King of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the Devil. Ooh, the Devil energy. Temptation. Oops. Okay, I won't count that because it rolled way off camera. So let's see what comes up for October for the earth signs. Gemini. Ooh, Pluto energy. The 9th house. Okay, interesting. So earth signs, it could be with Gemini, you know, that could be someone that you also had a friendship with, for example, but there was also some kind of romantic link. It could also be where there's a Gemini influence either in your chart or their chart, something significant with that sign. Pluto comes up, which is interesting because even though the Devil is Capricorn energy, and it does talk about temptation, Pluto energy can be like that magnetic pull where you just feel drawn to somebody and you can't always put words to why. It's just something that is compelling you. And Pluto can lure us with this kind of dark magnetic energy that can feel a little bit intense, to say the least. The 9th house is interesting. So for some, there may be either a connection with someone that you had, again, friendship, because the 9th house can be the friendship part of the chart. But this can also be for some of you, someone who lives at a distance to you, someone who lives overseas, someone that is long distance away. It can also indicate somebody where through the connection there's some kind of teaching and learning, whether they're a teacher to you or you're a teacher to them or both. You know, it could be, I don't necessarily mean like strictly a teacher in the traditional sense. It could be like a mentor or someone who tries to guide you, or someone that you're trying to help or guide or mentor or sort of assist in some way in a spiritual sense, because the 9th house is that Sagittarius big picture energy. You know, it's all about our perspective, how we see life. So there is something like that. But the Ace of Cups really gets my attention. The Ace of Cups is genuine, deep feeling. Now, it's very interesting. It's with the Devil, which is kind of like lustful kind of desires. So maybe it's where this kind of relationship or connection with this King of Cups could be a water sign too, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, or they could have that prominent in their chart. Where this person, you know, there are genuine feelings, but there's also something a bit toxic about the connection or a bit taboo here. I feel for most earth signs watching, you already know who I'm talking about. It's someone that you already have a connection with, but there may be some that this is a new energy. Let's see what comes up for the earth signs for October with this oracle deck. Okay, one's trying to jump out. Looking within, moon dust magic, it's 12. 2 and 1 is 3, which is about communication. And it's interesting, it's saying looking within. So what I get from this is there's something about this dynamic with this person where they could be somebody that triggers you as well, with the Devil here and with the Pluto energy in the 9th house. But it's asking you to look within at what is being triggered by that other person that is you know, hooking into something within you. Is it something to do with do they remind you of a dynamic with a parent, or, you know, is there something like that going on where this person's wounds, you know, or trauma is similar to your wounds or trauma, or, you know, it could be opposite, but it's like I'm seeing like puzzle pieces fitting together. I don't know how that plays into it, but it could be where your respective traumas kind of link up to create this attachment somehow is what I'm getting, something like that. Let's see with the astrology cards or what else comes up. Keeping in mind we have Pluto, which rules Scorpio, Gemini, and the 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. Let's see what else. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. If there's any connections come up with these cards, this one's trying to come out. We have the 12th house, which is the house of escape. So this can link to where you feel like this person, it seems to be focused on relationships for the earth signs for some reason. That's really strongly what I'm getting. This person, you have a past life connection with this person. The 12th house represents like the unseen. It's a karmic house. It's a house where we're looking at the subconscious mind, the subconscious pull. Like I said before, it's like being drawn to somebody, but you're not really sure why. You're just compulsively drawn to them. Something could be coming up about, even if you've let go of someone, the issue connected to this person is coming back up in October. That's what I'm saying. Please keep in mind, like I say, these are general readings, so it may not fit everybody. If you're an earth sign, you're like, that doesn't relate to me, look at your rising or your moon sign for part of this video. The timestamps are below. But yeah, the 12th house is like when you're with this person, you kind of have felt, or when you have been with this person in the past, you felt like you're in sort of a bubble together of like your own little world, and it's like the outside world sort of fades out compared to the energy between the two of you is what I'm getting. It's also a past life connection very strongly, and you may have dreamed about each other or have dreams about this person with the 12th house energy. And there's also some kind of deeper spiritual lesson going on that might be hard to pinpoint what it is. Okay, air signs. Okay, next, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So for Libras, don't forget, you've got that solar eclipse coming up on 2nd of October in your sign, 10 degrees of Libra. So this is going to be a new beginning for the Librans. And it could feel a little bit intense, but it's definitely not as intense as the lunar eclipses, the full moon lunar eclipses are. This is a new moon solar eclipse. Okay, let's see what you guys have. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. If you're a Gemini and you've got anything around middle degrees of Gemini, you've been feeling probably a lot of stress because Saturn's around that degree at the moment. Let me just double check. I can't think of it off the top of my head where Saturn's up to right now. I should know because I look at it daily, but it's just slipping my mind because that affects Geminis. Let me just see, you guys. 1 second. Okay, where is Saturn? It's loading. Why is it so slow? Internet? Gosh. So Saturn is currently 14 degrees. So if you've got anything, and it's going retrograde. So if you've got anything 14, 13, 12, 11 degrees of Gemini, you'll be feeling that square from Saturn. So that could feel very tense for you or troubling. You might be having health struggles or feeling just subpar. You could be feeling stressed with work or just life in general. Oh, wow. You guys have the 2 of Cups for the air signs. And you have the King of Wands and you have the Star, which is Aquarius. Oh, I love it. Okay, so Aquarius energy comes up very strongly here. I'm just going to look at the Astro dice, what else comes up for the air signs for October. Let's make sure you guys can see the cards. All right, let's see with Astro dice. 2 of Cups is relationships. That's nice. Fire energy comes up. I swear you guys had this before last month. The 2 of Cups and the King of Wands, or a Wands court card came up last month for air signs. I'm sure of it, if I'm remembering correctly. Saturn, Aquarius, 4th house. Wow. So for some, possibly I'm talking to the Aquarians here, but just again, oh, Libra just flipped over. That was weird. What? That's crazy. Like it was on that and it just went to that on its own. Very strange. Well, I touched it and it did that, but still, that was a bit bizarre. Okay, so maybe the Librans and the Aquarians. There's something about seeking stability in love and relationships. And wanting more stability for yourself. Like maybe you're realizing for those in a relationship, if you're an air sign, it's one of two things. You're either happy in your relationship and you're feeling stable. This is for the air signs in relationships, not the single ones. You're either happy in the connection and you're looking towards the future, seeing that it could be stable, or you're feeling that something's missing in the relationship and the star is calling you forward. So it's going to be either one of those. You will know based on how you feel. Okay, so that's very interesting. For single air signs, October could indicate meeting somebody new through friends, through a group connection with the star, or meeting somebody where there's potential for future. You have the Dark Moon Retreat. Wow, so make sure you're having time on your own too, because that's very important. Wow, Mercury comes up. Mercury rules Gemini. It says mind. So look after your mental health at this time, especially for the Geminis in particular, because like I said, Saturn is squaring. But you know, if you're a very early degree Aquarius, Pluto could be having a very strong effect on you, especially if you've got Mercury in Aquarius. Pluto could be conjuncting that if you've got 0 to 1 degrees of Aquarius. So this is talking about mental health, taking time out for you. And, you know, maybe you're going through some transformation on the level of thinking, of your mindset, your outlook. You know, maybe if there are certain things that are causing you to feel negative, worry, fearful, maybe you're looking at, you know, what you can do to work on healing those things. Because retreat and the mind come together here. So that tells me that if there's been some, it's funny, Mars just started to turn over, which is kind of an attacking energy. If you felt like something was attacking your mind, so to speak, I know that sounds very harsh, but that's what Mars energy represents. Sometimes when we have fearful thoughts or negative thoughts, we can feel like we're under a psychic attack, or, you know, what is that? We need to get control of our mind. We need to get grounded. And that can be hard for air signs to get grounded, because air sign energy does live in the mind. But the biggest test for the air signs is to make that journey from the head to the heart. That's the biggest thing. And once you go to your heart energy, you'll feel so much more peace. You know, people try to grab onto all these concepts and ideas and all these different thoughts and mental level things, but the reality is, if you just go to your heart center, you bypass the need for all these extraneous bits and pieces. Not to say they're irrelevant, they have their place, but if you're looking for inner peace, your heart center contains that. But if you're blocked from your heart, well, then that's going to be problematic, right? So that's why they say the longest journey, there's a saying that says the longest journey is from the head to the heart, because it's not that easy to just connect to the heart for most people, unless you've already done the work, because a lot of us have traumas and things like that. So I feel like this is about healing, like doing the healing work, air signs. You can't avoid that. Because if you're avoiding your own shadow, you're avoiding the healing work, it's going to show up in all these external ways that force you to confront it in other ways. So definitely looks like something about doing the healing inner work to, you know, maybe purify the mind, meditation, or working on releasing toxic, heavy energies from the past that have caused you to feel dark in some way, perhaps, or to feel negative or pessimistic or struggle with your mental health. You know, again, I'll say, look, these are general readings. This is not necessarily for every air sign, but take what resonates if you're an air sign. And again, if you think it doesn't resonate, go to the other videos for your rising or your sun sign, okay? Moving on to the water signs. Okay, water signs for October. Ooh, we have the Queen of Pentacles. That's a nice energy, earth sign energy for the water signs. So there could be someone around you, water signs, that has earth energy. You have the Ace of Swords, which is talking about a decision or clarity coming in. That's nice. This one or this one? I think this one's got stronger energy. The Moon. To have the Moon, which is confusion, with the clarity card is kind of funny. Actually, this one won't go back in, so I will take it. Two of Pentacles. Yeah, right. So there's a decision between two different options, which could be a source of for the earth signs, sorry, not the earth signs, the water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. There's a decision between two options as around something. So it could be, Pentacles is work, so it could for some people be work, but it could be a relationship, choices, or thinking about your options in some way. What I'm getting here, because we have the Moon, I think there was something that you were unclear about water signs previously, but you're actually gaining clarity about it. That's what I'm getting here. There was something that you couldn't decide about, and it was confusing you, and it was leading you astray in some way with this Moon card. But something is leading you to get clarity now, and you've realized something. And what you've realized, I think, this month, and what's coming in for you for October, is you realize the stability that you need. The Queen of Pentacles comes up. But it's interesting because for some of you, I feel like this is your energy, like not just gaining security only through money, finances, work, or material side of life, but it's actually from within you, yourself, deciding that you want a certain experience for yourself that's pushing you forward, that's going to bring in this feeling of being very stable. The Queen of Pentacles, earth energy, is very, very stable energy. So I think this is quite beautiful so far, what I'm seeing for October. So you could be having realizations about this. You could be having a shift in your experience. Some of you might be getting a new job in the month of October as well with these cards that I'm seeing here, if you're looking for that. Water signs. Let's see what else. Ooh, so many cards, but this one, oh wow, healing comes up. Isis. How powerful. So 26, which is an 8, this is about transformation, and it talks about some kind of healing that you're undertaking, and it could, I'm also getting like healing the mind. So for the water signs, there might be something that you struggled with previously that's going to be shifting for you, and it's a healing thing for you. It's actually really beautiful. I get this beautiful, beautiful energy with the gold. Oh wow, I also get healing your heart as well. Interesting. Gemini comes up. So Gemini is about duality in one way, and that's something that I was talking about here, where you were confused before, but you're going to get clarity. So this is showing that on the mental plane, you're going to come out of this dualistic, being stuck in two minds. That's, you know, it's never a good place to be stuck within two options or two minds. It creates a disconnect from your inner self. And that's why it feels uncomfortable for us to be stuck in two minds about something, or this indecision. But it's like hanging in that space and staying there is also a decision sometimes. But what I'm seeing for the water signs is you're coming out of any kind of imbalance that you've been having on the level of your mind. Because of the healing card as well, it shows you're actually healing this imbalance of the mind to come into more focus for yourself and more clarity. I'm just going to do the Astro dice. Neptune, Scorpio, 5th house. Wow. Something about love comes up here, and could be about children. If you know, whether you have them or not, it could be like fertility energy, reproductive health. It can also be feeling very spiritually aligned now. That's what I'm getting with the Neptune, the Scorpio, and the 5th house. Scorpio is an energy that knows itself and knows what it wants, like in a deep sense. Even if it can't always put words to it, it has a very strong inner instinct. And with these on the Astro dice coming up, it's showing that when it comes to love, you're following this instinct that's coming from with Neptune, what you've healed now. That's what I'm getting. So those were the readings for the month ahead. Thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to book a reading, like I said, the link is below. Have a great month, everyone. Take care. Bye.